What's up guys, Johnny here again, bringing you a Log Horizon deck tech. This set's about to come out in English, I think the 23rd, so I decided to show a build off that you guys can try when the set comes out for those unfamiliar with the set. So yeah. And starting off with level 0, I have 3 of these 0025 Sojis. If your opponent has 3 or less characters on their turn, then he gets plus 2,000. So he becomes a 0045 on your opponent's turn, which is nice. He can get pretty big with back row support in this deck. Next I run 3 of these 1000 Akatsukis. She's a level 0 reverser, and you can rest one of your characters, and she gets plus 1000 power. So if you have 2 cards in the back row and you rest her, she can be 3k before assist, so maybe she can get over like searchers or stuff like that, and not have to waste the reverser ability on her. But yeah, that's really good because if you can get over their opponent's characters just by power alone, then on their turn they have to deal with a reverser, so that's nice. Next, one of the best cards in the deck, 00500 Mario. She's a 500 global to all your magic and weapon characters, and on play, she has 2 effects. One is a mandatory mill 1, and the other is a mill 3 that's optional. So you can choose to do either one, but if you hit a climax with the mandatory mill 1, then you have to send her to stock. And the ruling on this card is if you play her and you choose to mill the 1 first, say, and then you hit a climax, she goes to stock, you still get your mill 3 because both effects are activated at the same time. So you can choose which one to use. Usually I do the 3 and then the 1. So she's like a free brainstormer on play, and she's an assist, and she's just really good, especially when you know you're out of climaxes. Next other central card in the back row is this 001k Cheerily. On your opponent's turn, he gives the middle character of the center stage plus 1000, and you can pay 1 rest him, brainstorm, for every climax draw card. So he's essential in the deck because Log Horizon really needs a hand size, and also he makes your characters bigger because they also kind of lack power. Next, kind of a techie card are 2 of these 0015 Akatsukis. On attack, you can put a marker under her to the waiting room, and then choose a level 0 character in your opponent's center stage and send it to waiting room. The way she gets her marker is if she doesn't have a marker, you can rest her and get a marker. So she can get rid of your opponent's like runners that they used last turn, or if they left the reverser out on the field. So chances are, if your opponent's trying to keep their hand size up at level 0, so they're only playing like 1 character a turn or something like that, and chances are they're probably attacking with it too. They can just move it to the back row, and then you can't really do much about that. But if they do that, then that means they're not attacking. Next, I have 2 of these 00500 Isuzus. She's just a standard on play, pay 1, discard 1, search for a magic or weapon, and she's also a 500 global to all Rudies. So she's a searcher, and she's really small. So that's it for level 0s. That's 4, 7, 10, 16 level 0s. Oops. Moving on to level 1. For my level 1 game, I have 4 of these Cheerily's. If you have 4 more cards in your hand, then he gets plus 1/5, and he also has Clock Encore. So, since Log Horizon kind of has meh power levels at level 1, this card is pretty essential to have in your hand. He becomes vanilla power with Clock Encore, which is nice. And that's why I said that the Brainstormer was pretty mandatory in your back row, because you use the Brainstorm to keep your hand up. And him having Clock Encore also helps with that. So basically you sit on him for like ever. Next, I have 3 of these 1035 Isuzus. She's just a level 1 reverser. So once again, if you can't beat them, you just use her to get over it, because chances are Cheerily is not really getting over anything on your turn, and on their turn you can back up and stuff like that. So next I run 3 of these Akatsukis. She's 1045, and you have 3 or more magic or weapon characters, she gets plus 1/5, so she becomes a 106k. So really good card. It was kind of forgotten because it was a TD card, but then when I was building the deck, I originally had the 1/1s in, and I was like, I kind of need a lot of stock in this deck, so I was looking through all the cards and I found this little treasure, and it's a pretty good card. Next, I have two of these 1/0 2000 minority PRs. She's a 1000 backup, and when you use the backup, if you have a Cheerily on the field, then you can give the battling character 1000. So it's a 1/02K, which is nice. And chances are you always have a Cheerily in your on your field, either him in the front or the Brainstormer in the back. And then lastly, I run two Mind Shocks. It's a 1135 event backup. So that's 4, 7, 10, 14 level 1s. Moving on to level 2. I run one of these 2/1/2/5 Akatsuki. She's a pay 1, 2/5 backup. And when you use the backup, you can pay 2 and refresh. So it's like the Sheena backup from Angel Beats. It's pretty nice. It's kind of costly though, but the deck's all about building stock anyway, so most of the time you can spare like 3 stock. And for my last character at level 2, I have this 2/1 7K Akatsuki on play. Reveal the top card of your deck if it's a magic or weapon character, add it to your hand, and discard a card. And then Encore phase change, pay 2, discard 1, change into the level 3. So yeah, she's just in here for an early change. If I'm ahead in the game, then I can play her and change. If not, then I can just clock her. And lastly, 2/2 Salvage event. It's just a generic pay 2 salvage 2 characters. So that's 4 level 2s. And then level 3, super crazy card. 3/2 10K Akatsuki. She can't side attack, and on play she heals. And when she attacks with the gate in play, she gets plus 4000 power and the ability when she reverses her opponent, burn 1. So she's the main game ender of the deck, and she gets ridiculously huge because of this next card. So she will never not reverse her opponent. It's pretty great. And here's the man of the hour, 3/2 3K Cheerily. He is a level assist times 1000. So if he's behind a level 3, then say Akatsuki, then she'll get plus 3K. Also, his first effect is you cannot take damage from your opponent's auto abilities. So that means burns on attack, burns on cancels, and yeah, really nice. And his last effect is during your turn, you can pay 1, rest him if when one of your characters reverses their opponent, and that character gets -2 soda front. So say this Akatsuki kills something on your turn, which she most likely will. You can pay 1, rest him, and give her -2 soda front. So it's really nice to pay out climaxes that you trigger, and it gives -2 soda something. So usually you preferably you put it on like a level 1 or something like that to make it obnoxious for them. Because if it's a level 3, if they side or something like that, then they're probably already crashing into it, and they're pretty desperate at that point. But if it's like a level 1 that they were hoping to get damage out of, then it's just pretty great. And then lastly, I run one Natsugu. He's 3/2/9/5. He gets 500 power for every other magic or weapon character, and he has Bodyguard or Great Performance, which means if he's not reversed on your opponent's turn, then when they front attack, they have to front attack him. So he's just in here because he's a funny card. If your field setup was like this, then he would be 1000, 2000, 5, 8. He'd be 17/5. And your opponent has to front into him, and if they think they can get over that with like a Titan or something, then you have a 1135 backup. So pretty funny card. He makes your opponent minus a lot. The only problem with him is that if you have him, chances are your opponent is crashing into him, so next turn if you have the gate for the Akatsukis, then she doesn't really have anything to reverse. So yeah. But he's still a fun card. So that is 8 level 3s. And for Climaxes, I run 4 gates and 4 red stock souls. A lot of decks I see use 4 gates and 4 books to plus. But honestly, the deck uses so much stock late game that the red stock soul really helps. And also, since your character is away, you can use it to side attack. So on to how I played the deck. Level 0 is pretty simple. Play Soji. If you have to, you can use the level 0 reverser. And if they have a runner, then I guess you can use the marker Akatsuki. But level 0, you may, really want to get these two assists out, because if it is like this, then this Soji is like 4555 6k. He's a 006k, which is pretty crazy. And if you're missing anything, then the Zuzu Searchers here. Level 1 is also pretty simple. Get a couple of these guys out. Depending on the situation, you can either use the Zuzu or the Akatsukis to get over your opponent's characters. And to defend your characters, you have two different backups, both really nice. Level 2, there's not much to do at level 2. I mean, if you're ahead, then I guess you can change and play the Akatsuki early. You don't really have to, but there's also this 2-2 event, because sometimes I find that come late game, all my level 3s are in my waiting room, so it's nice to hold on to one of these throughout the game. And if you can, free fresh. And come level 3, usually I push the Marielle up to replace with a Cheerily, and then you just play Akatsuki, play the gate, ruin your opponent's dreams, and then say they survive the Akatsuki onslaught. Next turn you can play Natsugu, and then you draw another gate, and then their opponent has no field, and then you cry. But that's okay. So that's how the deck is run. It's pretty simple. Basically, you build a lot of lost stock, and then you just play level 3s. So yeah, pretty generic. Onto alternatives you can run. These are just some off the top of my head. There's this 0025 Akatsuki. If you have no other characters, she gets +1/5 in hand encore. So you can use this over the Soji if you want. She's more sustainable than the Soji, and it's really nice to draw her if she's your only level 0. So yeah, 4k hand encore is pretty good. Next is this hilarious 0015 Shiroi PR. He gives the other middle character in your center stage +500 power, and you can rest him and give power to a character times their level by 500. So you rest him, and he's a level assist for one character. So he's a level 0 level assist, which is just hilarious. And then if you don't have enough of the 106k TD Akatsukis, you can use this 6k. She has clock encore, and you can rest one of your magic characters to give her 1000 power. So she's a pretty decent alternative to the 106k. She sits at the same power, and she also has clock encore. The only problem with the 106k would be that it has no encore, and chances are your back row is always one Mario and one Cheerily. So you can rest these, and since they're both magic, she'd be 8k or 8.5. So yeah, she's really good in the deck. And if you don't have the where is it? This backup, then you can easily run the 1015 Mario backup. It's no big deal. Then there's this 10 forgot his name, but if you play him and you have Mario on the field, he gets +2000, so it becomes a nice assassin. Next, 2-1 Yanta. I see a lot of builds having him in, but I don't see a use for him, really. When another magic or weapon character attacks, he gets +1000, and at the beginning of Climax phase, you can pay 1 to discard 1, choose one of your opponent's characters and the back row and move it to the front row, and he gets +1000 power. So he pulls up level 2s for Akatsuki to reverse, but it's not really necessary. And then lastly, this amazing card, 2-1-7k PR Akatsuki. If you have Shiroi on the field, she gets 1/5, and when another magic or weapon character attacks, she gets +1000. So that's the deck, guys. Hope you enjoyed. It's a pretty strong set. The anti-burn is amazing, and the Akatsuki is amazing. So if you have to play it in English, I would highly suggest it. Until next time.